got one of the fan favorites here. We got Caleb McAllister.
Commissioner told me to come by.
Yeah, dude.
What's up, guys?
Here we go, man. We got Caleb McAllister. He came down with one of his students, and man, he did absolutely incredible. Like,
thank you.
Jacob coming in, winning one match in a tough qualifier, and second match he has a great match, like blue belt. So
blue belt, man. So much better than I was as blue belt. It's not even funny.
It's so funny watching these young guys go out there. And
getting good, man. Getting good fast.
Insane. So what was the game plan? You know, as a veteran, like how did you prepare him for this qualifier?
Well, it's a combination of figuring out what his opponents do well and how to adjust to not give them the setups that they're looking for, while also recognizing what he does well and not, you know, you got to dance with the girl that brung you. You know, he's got to do what he does well. Like I always love the Marcelo Garcia line, you know, when people ask, you know, aren't you afraid that people are going to worry about just stopping guillotines and arm drags and that kind of stuff? And he's like, well, no, because there's no way that they can practice defending it as much as I practice hitting it. So as a coach, I got to find the balance between what does he do well and shove it down their throats, and what do they do well, and let's not obviously fall into that. And he did a really, really good job of that. I was proud of him. We knew Stephen Dana was going to be one of the favorites to win the whole thing, and obviously he showed out, but for a blue belt, man, he gave him a really tough match. It was back and forth. It gave him some good offensive looks. Hit a great rear naked choke in the first match, so I was really proud of him.
He looked incredible. He did
Thank
well
you.
with Steven, because Steven and Reese especially, like, of the guys that were here, I was like, those are kind of like, those guys can compete on a national level.
100%.
They're very, very, very good purple belts.
100%.
And so Jacob coming out here getting to have that match, like, you know, what's the plan? So, like, how are you going to help him improve? I'm always fascinated with coaches, like, from what you saw today, like, what's going to be the game plan when you get back home?
Well, obviously, he still needs a little polish on his leg lock defense. He did a good job of, I think it was 5 or 6 that he survived, but he wasn't clearing his knee line. So it doesn't do you any good to survive it and then just give him another shot at the exact same thing. So we need to build on what he's doing right, which is, you know, the heel slips are looking pretty good. We need to clean him up a little bit, but overall, he's doing some good stuff there. But you got to make him pay taxes on that. If you slip the heel, you can't just let him get another bite on the heel again. So we need to polish that up a little bit. And, you know, they get one shot and then they pay for it. They don't get 5 shots in a row. But, hey, he's a blue belt, man. He's got things to work on, but he's making fantastic progress. I mean, you give him 5 years, he's going to be world class. It's going to be incredible.
Oh, I believe it. And the PGF, it's like, if you're willing to compete in a Kumite style, like, it just kind of shows as a competitor, you know, that, you know, anybody can go do a one-man IBJJF bracket.
That's true.
You know, you come and you see 20 guys listed, and not even that, just knowing what comes. Like, if you win, you got 3 matches a day for a week.
Yes.
Like, dude, you know, you've been there. You did it with a broken rib.
That's what I hear.
How's the body feeling?
Improved. You know, it's funny, you know, oddly enough, the only thing that I really can't do at all still is run. I don't know why. For some reason, that is just absolutely excruciating still, but I can do most other stuff and, you know, adjust a little bit. I'm still rolling. I'm still training, lifting, all the stuff I need to do. Got ADCCs coming up in a few weeks, so I'll be ready for it.
Dude, you're an animal, dude. I
I
have a broken hand right now, and I'm just like, dude, like, the thought of doing ADCC, I'm like, nah.
Yeah, you've competed out there with injuries plenty of times. You know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what it's like.
I hear you. But I think those days for myself are at least over. But
you've earned your glory.
Caleb, man, I got to say, man, watching you coach, you know, when we were up at Finishers, listening to you coach there, and then obviously today, it's amazing, you know.
Thank you
have
so much.
Such a calm and just direct. I love listening to just the direct, and especially with calm, you know, the coaches that yell and are screaming and just giving random instructions, like all of your instructions are so clear.
Thank you.
What's just a tip, like how do you develop that as a coach?
Well, it's a combination of things. You're absolutely right. You know, it's easy to get excited as a coach. I mean, we're all keyed up, and you know, it's nerve-wracking. But at the same time, your athlete is plenty keyed up. They don't need you to hype them up. With a few exceptions for some personalities, but most of the time, like you said, they need you to calm them down, keep it very methodical, relaxed. This is the exact same thing you've done in the gym hundreds of times before. Just do what you know how to do. As far as how I kind of developed that, it's mostly from studying people that I thought were really, really good coaches and really good cornermen. Starting in MMA, you know, Greg Jackson was always a favorite of mine. I thought he was an incredible cornerman, always, like you said, very calm, very simple. You know, Ryan Hall, I think, is very good that way. Sean Applegate is extremely good that way. I like the people that are methodical and simple. It always annoys me when I see coaches say, get out of there, or posture up. I'm like, if they could, they would. They don't know how. It's your job to explain how you need them to do what you want them to do. You need to keep your instructions much simpler, much more down to earth. And then you can adjust it to the athlete that you're dealing with.
So after the competition days, is like full-time coaching, you think, something you go into?
Yes, but I don't think that's anytime soon.
I know.
I love being a competitor too much, even though I do wear two hats as a full-time coach and a full-time competitor. And yes, that is a bit of a challenge. It feels like herding cats sometimes. I love it, on both sides, and it's incredibly rewarding, and I want to continue to do both to the absolute best of my ability for as long as I possibly can.
Well, what I know there's been talk maybe of you possibly like coaching a team this next season, or are you going to be involved in season 4 in any way?
Yeah, we've had some talks along those lines. It'd be a blast to be involved like that. If that's what the commissioner wants me to do, I'd love to contribute in any way that I can. I really believe in what he's doing with the PGF. I think it's great for the sport. I think he and you and Lindsay and Keelan and everybody that are involved in it do such an incredible job, and anything that I can do to contribute, I'd be happy to do.
Well, you're obviously one of the fan favorites. You've had incredible seasons.
Thank you.
And I got to say, it'd be an honor having you involved in season 4 in any way. But even if it's just with one of your students, that would be just as good as well.
I appreciate it, brother.
I really think, it was just so cool seeing Geo student Reese win.
Yes.
He won that qualifier, and now a student won the qualifier.
Yes.
And I'm really excited for that. But last thoughts, how can people follow you? And obviously, next is ADCC, that's the next one?
That's the next one. Yeah, I decided to probably be smart to take a few weeks to let things heal. So I'll be at ADCC in Vegas in a few weeks. If you want to get in touch, Instagram's probably the best way to do that. Caleb McAllister Official. I have some other pages, but Instagram is definitely the easiest way to get a hold of me. I'd love to hear from anybody that I've met or that has followed me in the PGF.
Yeah, well, again, you're a fan favorite, such a fan, brother.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
That's my dude, Caleb McAllister, man. This guy did great. Dude, I'm telling you, I got a broken hand right now, and I just can't imagine competing. And this dude competed with a broken rib. So I'm like, oh, man.